All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to check out set trapping. So let's quickly look at settings. The next item on the list is trap. So right now you can see that it's set to false. The way we've been doing these videos is we first just highlight the name. We can do a quick alias to see if it means anything, and it does. So the trap function or alias is actually going to the real name, which is called set blue genie trapping. And we're actually going to do a quick walkthrough to see what information we have on that. So we do a walk trap to find out all the description information, so we can see that this is an add-on to control the host trapping from the Blue Genie console. Trap information is captured to both the file and the event log. In here you can see that the file path is the system drive, Windows temp, and then there's a prefix to the file called BG, the job ID that you assigned, the process ID that's executed, and a random 10-digit GUID with a .log extension. Then we have the event log info. So here we have the event log name, application, source is Blue Genie, event type is informational, event ID is 7114. Data captured with posh2 is going to be XML converted as string. And then anything posh3 and up is going to use JSON. Information that we're trapping on the remote machine is job ID, host name, commands, parallel commands, post commands, and full dump path. And then commands, the current trap command is called trap. And what else? Aliases, this is what I want to talk about. So aliases, by default, we have a few, right? We have set BG trap, which is a shorthand quick alias compared to set Blue Genie trapping. So this is the fully qualified commandlet. And then here is set trap, even faster command, and then trap. So trap was originally designed, well, I'll show you in 1 second. So trap only allows for us to get to help. So if you look at settings right now, most settings, if you just run job ID, you can see job ID and then hyphen whatever the parameters are. You could tab through all the items and you could see a list of items there. Trap, however, does not have that list. So tab complete does not work. The reason for that is trap is actually a real command in PowerShell. Meaning that it's predefined, it's already set, you can't take over. Even if you create an alias, it does not take over. The only way you can do that is to create a function called trap, and then it will override the PowerShell default. But we're not going to do that. So in this case, we can see that if we just do a walked trap, which gives us all the help information, we can use one of these three aliases, or I'm sorry, one of these two aliases, or the fully qualified commandlet name. So we're actually going to use the set trap flag. All right, so in this instance, we're actually just going to look at settings again, and you can see currently trap is disabled. So if you want to trap this information on the remote machine, let's say you're worried about slow computers, you get LAN disconnects, so on and so forth, this helps with that. This actually traps that information on the local machine, or on the remote machine rather, and then when it comes back up, Blue Genie can actually go and retrieve that information. It does not have to requery the entire computer for that info. So with that said, if we just type in set trap, you could see that now it is set to true. So it's a quick toggle, meaning if you just type in the command, whatever it was, it gets converted to a new process. So if it was false, it gets set to true. If it's true, it gets set to false. And you can tell right here, you can see up above, it was set to false. We just ran the command, and you can see now trapping is set to true. If I do set trap again, and then settings, you can see now it's set to false. And there is a parameter to distinguish those flags on the fly, so you don't have to worry about it flip-flopping with a toggle. So by default, I said there's a toggle, but right now, if you just click on the parameter field, you could see that there's a list of parameters. So set trap, we have a set true and a set false for the commandlet specific ones. All the other ones are commandlet bindings, which you could see is walkthrough, verbose, error action, so on and so forth. So those are non-essential at this moment. Right now, the one that we care about, or the two that we care about, is set true and set false. So we could pick whichever we want. We know that this was last set to false, so we can do a set true on this instance. Hit enter. We see that it's set to true. We do a settings again, and again we are here set to true. Now remember, before we did a toggle, and if you just run set trap, it would automatically toggle based on what it was last. In this instance, we are still in true, and we're going to set it to true one more time, just so you could see that that value always stays true. And you could see trap is still true. And now, instead of using the toggle, let's say you wanted to set it to false and not worry about toggle, you could set that to false. And again, we have our set trapping for false. So that's trapping in a nutshell. That's to allow us to trap that information on the remote machine just in case the connection gets terminated or you have a slow connection. The only thing you're doing is telling that remote machine to execute, and you can do a disconnect. You can tell Blue Genie to have a quick timeout after 30 seconds or a minute and not wait, and then go back and retrieve that information later. And or also use that for debugging. Let's say you're having issues with the machine and it keeps on dropping for some reason, you can't detect what it is. This allows to find out what commands were sent, what was executed at the time before it drops. Maybe it's a connection thing, maybe it's some executing code that you're trying to run, who knows, but this will help alleviate those issues and trap that information on the remote machine. All right, and that's it for set trap. On to the next command. Thanks for joining, and catch you in the next video.